Hello everyone, welcome to the Monday morning board meeting. Luke Hart, Tom, Teeps, Joan, and we've got a guest coming as well. We've got an interview with Mr. B about the upcoming film that he's doing on the UK Pro Surf tour and basically the UK Pro Surf scene in the sort of noughties and early 2010s up to around just before COVID, which really gave UK pros a platform here at home, sponsorship deals, prize money, epic waves in comps, loads of practice if you wanted to go on to bigger and better things. So more on that soon. We have got where did we surf, what did we surf, what did Tom buy this week? We've got some absolute steals of the century on Marketplace that we want to talk about. We've got some new boards going online. We've got a proper exclusive. We did a coaching session with our 4 Surfboards team and Luke Dillon. 4 things start, I just want to give, firstly I want to say sorry, give a big shout out to Tom O'Leary from Wales, because when we were shouting out all the guys who had won at the Nationals weekend on our board, I didn't realise Tom O'Leary had won the Welsh Championships in the under 18s division and was riding one of his 4th boards. I didn't know that. Well done, Tom. Thank you for repping, you do rip, and he's a good mate of Eli's who won the Open as well, so that's pretty sick that you boys I'm sure could have shared a couple of lemonades after those victories. Right, where did we surf this weekend? Bowmy? Fourth Town, yeah. Mate, wasn't it like pumping Thursday, Friday?
Thursday was probably double overhead on like
I saw sets. Videos, I think, yeah. Surfline videos.
But it was really nice. It wasn't like, the wind wasn't offshore, the wind was slightly cross. So it wasn't being held up and it wasn't like dumping, it was breaking really nicely. And I was surfing that 6.8 Morris Cole. I got the reverse V hybrid.
Oh yeah.
Surfed it as a thruster, got everything I went for, and it just felt so comfortable, positive. Because it's got rail all the way along the edge, like you just got it on rail so easy, it just found the grip, could push really hard off it.
But not sticky?
A little bit, because the wave face was so open, when it walled off and you had something to push on, started to get it like properly top to bottom. But when it was like the open face, it was beautiful carving. Then on the Friday I surfed that again. I surfed it then with the new Futures reverse 3.2 twins with the kind of like...
You've had them in the water?
I know.
The new one?
I couldn't resist it.
Yeah, fair.
How were they?
Good.
What, notably different?
They felt really, again, when I was going steep, I thought, okay, now have I underfinned it? But again, it just was absolutely fine and was able to push really hard off the bottom. Definitely more rotation at the top, it released better.
I surfed my side piece as 2+1, and I think Joan filmed 1 wave of mine.
4 to the beach. Sick.
Just 4 bog rails all the way to the beach. But I did find it in the wave. I found that board quite boring. It was easy. Everything was easy. Like I'm taking off waves. I've got instant stability.
Was this Thursday?
Oh no, it's Friday.
It was Friday.
Yeah, it's Friday. Yeah, so it was a slightly smaller, cleaner day. And I said to myself, I'm going to wait for the big one. Because I'm just going to get out and go back filming again. It was just a little break from the camera. I found that as a pure mid-length geezer now, I think I've transitioned into, I need to be on good waves with mid-length. I need them to be really flowing and feeling it, because on those waves I like pissing around on the inside and you're not quite as reactive on a mid-length. Almost kind of want to fall off trying a big turn. You kind of don't. You just do a big turn and it goes... and you just like, you're back in and you're like, that's all I've got in a bag.
Yeah.
But no, I had a fun surf. I had like 2 or 3 waves and then got out. Then I filmed again. I've put a lot of time behind the camera this weekend. Fistral fully turned on, didn't it? The boys, like I was filming.
Friday evening?
Yeah. But we'd filmed all Thursday, all Friday. The whole 4th team were down, all the Welsh lot. Luke Dillon was coaching. It was such a good session. And I wanted to film. But they're done. They're like, 7-8 hours in the water. No one had anything left, and the rights at Fistral at high tide were just like grinding.
Yeah, we all got out before it got pumping.
What time were you then?
Oh, till dark.
Till dark, yeah.
But then Joe went, dude, I felt bad because he's knackered. He went, dude, I'll film if you want to go back in. Yes. So I fucking ran to the van to get changed, and I realised earlier in the day I'd forgotten my wetsuit and I had to borrow one of Eli's Seaskins team suits.
Eli?
Sorry, Logan.
I was going to say, you wish.
Yeah, and shout out Logan, who's basically a wetsuit caddy, because Eli forgot his wetsuit as well.
Yeah.
Eli came down with no boards and no wetsuit. Welsh champ.
It's gone to his head.
Left with quite a lot of boards though.
Yeah, and still no wetsuit.
Oh mate, insert those clips. I went up to the van, I was like, have I got a wetsuit? And I just went back to the camera and I was alright with it, I was at peace with it, but Fistral was going off. And we both filmed Luke Dillon. Mate, how good's this? Gotta give Luke some props for the coaching, but I'll give him some props for a surfer for a minute. He surfed the HP chip. Not perfect waves for it, but like it's UK. Arguably he'd be on his Rockstar or his shortboard in those waves. But he took the Nuggie out, or he took the HB Chili out. He surfed it, and you could see the first couple of waves were a bit like, he's just working it all out. But you'll see the clips from the edit. He ripped. He came out, and he went, I feel like my pad's too far back. I'm like, what do you mean? He said, well, just feel like the back fin of this is just like pushed up the board a bit, and I wish my pad could be over it a tiny bit more. So I reckon I could push it a bit harder. And I was like, that's crazy, because on the HB Chili, one of the things I do to the fin setup is I pull, because I just push the back fin up a 1/4 inch comparative to what you would on a shortboard in distance from the side fins. So they're all up. Yeah. So he goes, I reckon drop back on like 1/4 inch. It just felt like a short, like a pockety nuggety shortboard. And I was like, dude, that's up a 1/4 inch. And he's like, yeah, there you go. And it's just like, that's one surf, half hour. By the end of the surf,
that is nuts, isn't it?
By the end of the surf, he had worked out the board and like
you could see it. You could see it happen.
Full hammers. That was pretty cool. I was like, he knows his shit, man. That was after him doing a 12.5-hour coaching day.
Joe, what were you?
Oh yeah.
What were you on?
Because we had the whole team come down, I thought it was time to bring the shortboard out and try to do some shortboarding. I ended up pretty much swapping it out every surf for the Chili Jam. So I don't know if it was maybe the wind was kind of quite strong offshore, so it's almost blowing you off the wave, or the banks were just a little bit too fat for a shortboard. So I just found myself every time wanting to swap.
You're having a bit of a love affair with that board, aren't you?
I am.
And he's getting clips as well.
Oh mate, I saw the Instagram when he did with some of his highlights on that board, and it was like
so he did the Chili Jam update edit, which is on YouTube now. Go check it out. And then since then, I filmed him a couple more times on it, and he's got some big airs now on it as well. So you got even more. You should have added them in. It just goes together with your style. I think it almost chills your style out.
Yeah, because you're quite smooth and you're not busy on it. It looks all like smooth power, like kind of. Just so much speed from God knows where.
What have you been doing with yourself on Marketplace this week?
So I think we alluded to my surfboard habit. So what I do is there are certain boards I'm interested in, and I put alerts on. Really, I haven't had Wi-Fi for a week and a half. I got it back Sunday lunchtime. My Marketplace ping is like, so I love the paddle jumper boards. Yeah, one popped up, paddlefish. It had gone on like, needs some TLC, was literally the description, 50 quid. I can be around in like 20 minutes. He's like, yeah, fine, pop over. Went over, the board was like pretty dinged up, but the deck, it's not mashed up. The deck was pretty clean, so I thought, okay.
Made in Cali.
But I'm counting it and there are dings all over. I'm thinking, okay, that's going to require a bit of work. Was there going, can I be asked to do this? Can I be asked to do this? And I thought, do you know what? I can, but not for 50 quid, 20 quid. And he was like, yeah, sure. So
Can't believe it.
I would never offer someone less than 50 quid for a surfboard like that.
So yeah, that's like a lost paddlefish, 5'7". That's just going to be a lot of fun in sort of 2 to 3 foot. But yeah, for 20 quid, right?
That's nuts.
Finding a gem like that is so worth it. I'm looking forward to doing it up with you as well. If you got going online,
there's
a bit of a special one, isn't there?
Beauty.
Guys, this is a 7 foot Callum Teg. Been doing the Callum now for 6-7 months, been online. It's a mid-length. A lot of people kind of take the first glance at it and think sort of, okay, it's not your kind of typical sort of speed egg, sort of like the Channel Island mid sort of shape, which everybody seems to lust after. Huge amount of kind of just down the line sort of trim speed. It's got a load of foam through the middle, so loads of buoyancy, but the nose and the tail are really fold out.
Yes, it's not crazy hard to duck dive.
No, it's a twin fin. So it's got loads of speed, but again, the fold out tail gives you loads of purchase. Push on. Oh, here we go. Okay, you're like, yes, just an epic board, really, really fast, feels really positive on the wave, loads of grip. You can surf it steep, you can surf it mushy. This one, I really, really like. You've got the orange deck, you've obviously got the McCallum logo.
Tobacco custard, opaque tint with darkwood stringer and an orange burnt orange deck inlay. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jeff shaped it.
Jeff shaped it.
Yeah.
It was one that Jeff shaped whilst he was down here. Those ones normally go for about £1,200 basically. We'll be putting that on for around £1,000. So there'll be bargain price, especially with that finish. Those that are interested,
sick.
Check it out. And that's on the CoLab website.
We have the coaching session, so we've got some new videos being posted from Thursday, Friday. The whole team, 4th team down. Good waves. We tried loads of different models out. We had Josie Hawk down, Logan Nichols. So, newly crowned Grom Search champion Josie Hawk.
Yeah.
Newly crowned Welsh champion Eli Perrins-Davies. Closely fought 2nd place Welsh champion and former 3-time Welsh champion Logan Nichols. We had Ollie Wong, new XXL team rider, who I'm excited to do some boards for. The kid's a unit.
Yeah, it's huge.
He's a semi-pro rugby player.
Yeah.
He surfs,
Sick.
Yeah, he surfs really, really well. He fluctuates between 100 and 110 kg, and he's about 6'2", 6'3". Proper gentle giant. He does a turn and it just stays turned. You know?
He doesn't argue.
He's just your perfect fit for me to be like working on because he's such a good surfer. He can surf mid-lengths, fishes, short boards. He's open to everything. So great having Ollie down as well. And obviously Joan was out there as well, taking the heats on the Chile.
Representing.
On the Chile Jam.
Quite funny that our whole team's Welsh. We had to like hold the fort down, me and Dills.
I know.
It's got completely taken over.
I know.
Are you going to Stop
barking. No.
Can I hold it?
Do you guys want to carry on?
Put him on the table, see what he does. Be like, yeah, I'm important. There you go. UK surf legend, has filmed UK surfing since I can remember. The first time I ever did an interview was in that Shaping Bay with you. Can't even remember what it was for.
Animal Podcast, was it?
Yeah, maybe. There you go. That's the free t-shirt that they gave him.
Yeah.
You're filming I don't want to butcher this, but you're filming a documentary about the UK Pro Surf Tour and its positive impact on the UK surf scene.
You know, it was like our mini dream tour. It was really like an epic time to be a surfer in the UK.
Do you know, at the time, I don't think we understood how unique it was.
We did have an excitement about where we could go with this.
And it could only be good for the progression of British surfing, I thought, so I was really excited to be a part of it.
It's like the writing of history, but we didn't know it.
We were building champions.
The tour was accessing all these different spots all over the country.
The UK Pro Surf Tour was an incredible thing for female surfing.
It meant a lot of things to a lot of different people.
It allowed us to really follow our dreams and pursue our passions of becoming a professional surfer.
And it helped define careers.
Man, it was just incredible.
The World Surf Tour felt like the World Surf Tour. UK Pro Surf Tour.
That's why we're in, to talk about it. Yeah, I'm along with you. I was a junior filmer for Micah. Yeah, doing the events and going to Sri Lanka, and just epic. And it worked. It was just such a good time, and you almost forget. When it's gone now, you're like, oh, what a massive hole. It was sick.
But it's insane. It was like peak. It was like 12 events maybe in a year. 12 events. Like you pulled 12 events out of a year, and all of a sudden there's like nothing left. Yeah. So yeah, it was a crazy time. I mean, I think it started around '99 as a single competition, and then around 2002, 2003, it became a full tour. I think that was like four events, all sponsored by Headworks. Headworks were like, I mean, they kind of made that tour kind of really happen. I think it was 4 events, the first one. It was like Nate, Lamoureux, Igor. They were all kind of like vying for the first few.
Stoker?
Yeah, Stokesy won 2 or 3 times, 1 or 2 quite later on in his career.
Yeah, he
probably once you were shaping for him, was he?
Yeah, that's 100% why he won.
Yeah, exactly. Because he wasn't on to pop out anymore.
Yeah. He did win one year and he kind of dominated it, and he won the night surf. And the night surf to me is still the best event that's ever been done. It's so much better than Boardmasters because you get the high tide at night. Everyone's got some beers. It's like, you wouldn't say it's a local crowd. It's a surfing local crowd, and the buzz on the beach and how much everyone wants to win. And then you'd always end up with the best lot in the final. Remember Tom Butler won it 1 year as well on my boards. He was a bit of a underdog actually when he won it, but that was sick.
So the night surf.
Yeah.
What, did you go to the Nike one? It's like 2012 and Nike 6.0 or whatever it was. They were sponsoring it, and they put so much money into it.
Yeah.
Huge screen on the beach.
Yeah.
Like when I did a bit of filming for that one. It was kind of in a period where I wasn't constantly filming it, and they were like hiring guys full kind of crazy red camera, like really throwing money at it. You know.
They were doing the air shows.
Were they running it live as well?
I don't think they did a live stream, but I don't know how doable that was in 2012.
I was going to say that live stream was a thing,
bandwidth and stuff. It would have been about 20 by 20 pixels or something that you could get.
2011 it was apparently.
Oh, 2011.
According to an upload on YouTube.
Okay, yeah, no, that might be right. Yeah,
Night surf, Fistral Beach.
And then 2012 was the like crazy epic Thursday. But yeah, like the night surf was sick. It was like the best atmosphere.
Do you know that epic Thurso?
Yeah.
Will Bailey, shout Will Bailey out, another UK surfer.
And also thanks Will Bailey. He's like me loads of footage photo. He's been really into the project from the start.
Just him being back is epic.
Yeah, it's sick.
It just feels like everyone's doing something at the moment.
I messaged him and I was like, have you got any footage, do you mind? And then he was like, I'm thinking to get back into it. And then, because I started this like a year ago, maybe a year and a bit, you know, it's kind of been a gradual project, but a year ago I didn't think he was doing anything, and all of a sudden now he's kind of like...
His kids have got him frothing again. But just before we go any further, we should say, what stage are you at? And because you're getting funding, aren't you?
So doing a crowdfunder.
Crowdfunder.
I've had some grants from Boardmasters Foundation that's kind of like helped just get it to this point.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of, I don't know, it's hard to put a percentage on how far through I am. I've done about 25 interviews, long interviews, and it sounds like a lot. There's so many people. Yeah. How many people are on the tour? How many people, you know, involved through the years? And we're trying to cover all these different things like the financial side and how the financial crash affected everything. So there's all sorts of different people to speak to, from surfers, people involved, businesses, everything. So it's a crazy amount to film. So I've done I've had 25 interviews, but it's a big old project. So if everything went perfectly, then next summer would be, I'd hope to release it.
Yeah.
Whether we can get the funding or not to get to that position, because it's obviously it's such a big project that it requires an immense amount of filming and editing that I've got to try and somehow do it alongside other work.
You're the man for the job, I'd say, because you like working hard, don't you? Fair play. I mean, I absolutely cannot wait to watch it already. Where can people go to do the crowdfunder? Where can they go? Who are they going to? Crowdfunder?
So there's a link. It's crowdfunder.
We'll put it in the description.
Yeah,
nice and easy. It'll be in the link.
It'll be in the link. It'll be easier. Yeah.
And if you're a brand out there who wants to lump a bit in,
there is actually some business options on there as well. Some few different options.
Someone's got to pick it up, surely.
What's going to be your distribution? Sort of like, how are you going to get it out there? On what platforms?
Hopefully have a big screening tour around the country. And then I don't know. In all honesty, depends what kind of reception it has, right?
Yeah, we'll host it on CoLab. Probably have a few other options. It was a time where the internet was just kind of coming in those early days, like the early 2000s. That was before I was down here. It would have been a good local source of real surfing. And then during the time, 2012s and stuff, when there was loads of brands in, it was just when surfing was really cool. People really wanted to sort of attach themselves to surfing. But also when you could then have a global audience. It was a perfect little time just before the money went international and you'd lose it from the British surf scene. Yeah. Because why would you sponsor someone in Britain when you could sponsor this person who's going to go to Ireland and who's going to go to... You know what I mean? It was like that kind of little magic moment, and Dave sort of, how he made it work during that sort of transition is pretty incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's like, we're going to do a little bit, covered some of this in the film, but it's how media has changed through the period of the tour is immense. I mean, there was internet in '99, but there wasn't really internet, was there? There was
dial-up codes.
Yeah.
I'm nodding, but I have no idea.
It's here's an example of what internet was like. Been about 2004. I remember buying my first housing off eBay. I had to make a bid about 4 minutes before the end
to get it through on time,
and click and refresh and literally wait for 4 minutes going, come on, yes, I've got the housing.
And then it never turned up.
So you went from everything was surf magazines, surf DVDs, and Land of Saints and Carved did Toast 1 and 2, and that was kind of like British surfing. And so 99p and MVP, and then somebody did Performing Monkeys and Substance.
They did.
And then it kind of went to free DVDs on magazines.
Yeah.
And then internet started kicking in. When the tour first started, they were doing even newspaper articles were.
If you won the night surf at Fistral, you'd be on the back cover of the local papers. 100% sure. Yeah. I don't even think the papers would know surf events go on when they do now. Surfing's as big as it's ever been. I don't know a factory that's not busy right now, for example. Getting orders for surfboards. I mean, I know one surfer in the UK getting paid to be a surfer.
Yeah.
Do you think it'll ever come back?
I don't think Dave would be involved in it again. I don't know. Reed and John Owen started the tour. John Owen passed away recently. Dave Reed, I think, has kind of, you know, rested it and is, you know, I think
made his peace
with it. Whether somebody else would try and bring it back, what that would look like, how that would happen, I don't know. And that's something that, you know, we might explore in the film.
Imagine there's obviously it started, then it kind of grew and it sort of boomed and it was its heyday, and then there was the decline of it, I guess. That kind of arc that it sort of follows.
It is. I mean, yeah, I'm still kind of working out that structure to a point. It's interesting, but you need like all those personal people, you know, the personal side of stuff and the emotion. And so what I found is when I'm interviewing all the surfers and all the people involved, there's all these other kind of like tangents that are becoming quite interesting. It's been crazy how emotional so many of the interviews have got, like genuine tears with people like looking back on stuff, remembering it, kind of like feeling how they are now and what their position in life is now, what that meant to them at the time.
It was special. It was special, and I can imagine certainly for the younger lot at the time being something that you could aspire to or use to potentially springboard you onto a bigger stage. And for the older lot, it was the World Cup final. It was like something that they could identify with as a surfer, and it weren't easy. The top level in the tour was decent. It was, you know, you'd have Russ turning up, Ruben Ash turning up, Stokesy, blooming Llewellyn Whitaker when he'd come out. I mean, he shredded. Micah, Toby.
Right.
Yeah. If Dave managed to get a decent paycheck, you'd get other pros just trying to sneak in.
Glenn Hall.
Yeah. Hode Colazo.
Yeah. And then obviously towards the end you had Jay Quinn.
I had him in a couple of heats.
Jay Quinn for me, Jay Quinn personally is like the best surfer in terms of just like style, flow, power, and then like the airs he would do in the comps was just ludicrous. I think he only won one comp. It shows you how good
Jace.
Luke at the time, Joe, Ruben. So Ruben Ash was an interesting one as well, because he was on the tour from when I first started. He was like, 16, 17, and he never won it, I don't think, until 2017 and 2018. Not the very last year, but the two before that.
Did Russ ever win it? Did Russ ever do enough events to win it?
He won one, I think. I think he had a couple of like big battles with Stokesy.
So we're going to do some comps. We want to do stuff to give back, so we've got this concept for some competitions which are a bit more free surfing based. Hopefully they bring the intensity. We haven't exactly worked out complete details, but one of the things we want to do to sort of launch the concept is a Fistral super heat with Russ against Stokesy.
That'd be amazing. And
I saw Russ on the weekend and he was like
I haven't interviewed Russ, but I'm dying to, because there's so much I want to know about him, because I imagine he's just been asked the bog standard kind of questions just about career, but not really kind of like delving into the psyche. And then the other side of, you know, some of the troubles and that, and I'm not interested. I just really want to know about like how he got so good, because it's a bit of a mystery to, like, he just sort of would disappear, and it was at a time where like you didn't have social media and all this, and suddenly became like one of the best surfers in the world. He was so good, it was ridiculous.
I have a theory. I don't want to sound like horrible to Cornish people, but they're too nice.
Yeah.
Yes, Russ is the absolute pinnacle, right? Russ is from London. Where I grew up, you had a couple of ways out of having any sort of respect and existence and not being bullied, and it was sport. So it was sport, drugs, or maybe music. The fire that puts into you in a Sunday League football tournament, but then you transfer that raw energy from council estates in the cities, and then you bring it downhill. Well, surfing's easy. He looks at this and goes, smash everyone.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you have.
Yeah.
Why did Lamoureux? I mean, I know it's not the same level, but Lamoureux is from a different place.
Yeah.
Well, he shouldn't be as good as he was. Lamoureux is so good at surfing, and it's because he's from a place where you have to be a little bit more than nice to get on. And I think that what you're seeing now with Lucas leading the charge, I'd probably give some credit to Luke Dillon actually for maybe showing a few people what's possible. But these kids have got fire.
Yeah.
They've got fire. I think that Russ laid that foundation, and people don't realise that.
Absolutely, yeah. But there's also like all these gaps, like how he got so good in like heavy waves, how he got good in like I agree with you about the intensity. I mean, absolutely. I mean, you can see that.
I almost couldn't imagine him like looking up to other people, surfers as well. I'd like to ask him, like, did you like try and aspire to be someone?
Absolutely, because that's one of the questions I try and ask everyone is, what British surfer did you like? Were you inspired by which international? Yeah, so I'd really like obviously Russ. I'd love to really get like understand. You know, like sometimes you watch Russ and you think it doesn't look like you're necessarily even enjoying it, right? It's almost like felt like beating somebody is more important than anything else, and like that. Even like when I'm going free surfing, I'm thinking about beating somebody. That's what it looked like. And that's rare for surfing. And I might be wrong. That's the thing. I'd really love to speak to him. It's so good to see what he's doing in Barbados, and just it's so good to see. I kind of feel like there's so much assumption about it. I've got my own assumptions about him.
Yeah.
I'd really love it for him to be able to kind of like talk about some of that stuff, and it's not about all the crap, you know. The
no, I'm
psychology
interested too. Yeah. What made it tick? What made them all tick? Yeah, I'm thinking of all the names now. I'm just
you see how big a job I've got.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's some full characters, isn't there?
And so different, so varied.
Did you tell you who's ripping the other day at Fistral? Tucky.
Yeah,
Warren
he's
Tuck.
sick.
Oh really?
Yeah. Yeah. And he was always at the events.
Yeah.
I was just going up there for the banter, and Michael would pay me to be his sort of second camera and just make sure things didn't get missed. But I had some hell times.
You haven't got any of this footage anymore, have you? Or did you give it all to Micah?
I think it would have been all on Micah's tapes. I think it was tapes at the time.
It was,
so good luck trying to find that stuff. I could have a look through my drawers at home, because I've definitely got some old tapes. I'll have a look.
Okay.
I've got something. Mate, it's sick to have you here just to talk about it, and it's actually made me, I thought it was a really cool idea anyway. That's why I wanted to get you on. But like, you could almost have it as a series.
Well, that's just the thing. It's like, it's turning into a £10 Netflix series.
Yeah. And what was the purse? Was it purse per competition? Or
Dave Reed, his like absolute adamant thing always was like get the surfers paid as much as he could.
That was a thing for him. So for him, it was about allowing surfers to have careers, and by giving them prize money, it allowed them to sometimes get like match funding a little bit, or like the
incentive deals with sponsors.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? We don't have something like that now. We talk quite a lot about the lack of shape within sort of identity around sort of UK surfing, but I think if you had to distill it down into a single thing, and what you just said then, it's the ability to be a professional surfer, whatever style. You don't have to be into competition surfing or anything like that, but it's what opportunities in the UK do you have to be a professional surfer? The soul, that's the starting place, isn't it, where you can go, I am a full-time professional surfer. This is how my community, my tribe, the UK supports people that want to have that kind of lifestyle.
I think it's a global problem, dude.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
I mean, there's something dead.
How many professional surfers there are in the UK? People that like literally all.
What? Ben maybe as well.
Oh, his dad?
Yeah.
Ben? No, Ben won't get paid enough to not surf. Yes.
He's made it.
Okay, there's a couple of pro surfers.
I think
Lucas Skinner is the only like.
Just and Emily Curry and
Lucy Campbell.
Lucy Campbell, I think, are kind of
Lucy Campbell.
Point,
what I would say is like I always put it down to the conversation you have with your parents, right? So let's pretend your parents don't surf. You're 16, 15, and they're like, right, what are you going to do with your life? They're supportive parents, they've taken you to all the events. What are you going to do with your life? And you're like, I want to be a surfer. What are you going to do?
How's that going to work?
Yeah. Let's right, I'm going to do this event. How are you going to pay to get to that event? Oh yeah. Well, I'm going to put this video out. Okay, how are you going to film it? Right, so now your parents need to invest. Someone needs to. Surfing at the moment, the core of surfing doesn't have a product that it can sell at a big enough scale to warrant supporting that sort of career. So the only way in
from a competition standpoint.
No, I'd say any. Let's say Laura Crane's a good example. She is a good surfer. Laura's a really good surfer. One of the best female surfers. I'll give another example. Someone like Lucy Donlan. She's not a good surfer. She went on Love Island and then gained exposure that way, and she's a brilliant influencer. But Laura's actually a really good surfer who's charging in big waves. But the notoriety with Laura came from going on Love Island. So that gave her the platform. She's had to grind her way to that. She basically fought her way through a way to be whatever her life is, professional surfer, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, you can't explain. There is no explanation for a kid as to how they become a pro surfer. And I think the sporting side of it needs to be that, and you gain exposure from that. And unfortunately, the sport lets itself down. Like, there's not enough eyes. There's 15,000 people watching the World Tour final. What the fuck? 15,000.
Really, that's it. Yeah.
But just to put in this perspective, there was 4 million pay-per-view buys to a non-title boxing match.
Do you know one of the things I think that's really tricky with surfing, and I think it probably is similar with sports like climbing, it's almost not a sport for some people. It's not a competitive sport. For most people it isn't. It's just flat out, I just like to go surfing. You're not trying to beat anyone when you go surfing. So you don't necessarily relate to it quite as much. Whereas I think other competitive sports, you're trying to beat somebody.
In terms of participation as well, I think it's probably gone up, say in the last 10 years, it's probably doubled. It's probably something crazy like that.
So think of that, the participation has doubled and it's never been poorer.
Yeah, in terms of sport.
In terms of a competitive sport.
Yeah.
So an example might be, say, climbing, right? Do you reckon I don't climb, but like, do you think everyone who goes climbing is obsessed with climbing competitions?
No.
Right? And do you think that like the money that gets put into climbing should all be into the climbing competitions? I find it sad, don't get me wrong, and I think it's probably even more so with something like that.
I'm a bit gutted now you said it. Come on.
We were thinking of something we could do with the film that brought together like a kind of final champion of champions, like all those key core tour winners or like main kind of involved, get them into like a thing like as a bat. Like we were trying to work out whether a free surf session, but like or a competition or something like that. It would be nice to kind of bring everyone together. I hadn't quite worked out how or when or why or anything, but I don't know whether that's something we could combine our forces to.
Well, because you just invested 2-hour movie on telling us why it matters, so of course we then want to see it at the end.
You want to see something.
Exactly.
100%.
Right?
Absolutely.
You want to see like this kind of.
You want the Oki. Like, do you think of how many stories you're going to not tell about in this documentary? But that is what creates it. And you shouldn't tell them, but like, the good times and the bad times and the character clashes, thing that you just want to be mates with it. And you don't at the moment with competitive surfing. You can watch it, you can appreciate it, you could potentially aspire to be as good at it. You don't want to consume yourself with caring about it as much as maybe past generations have had you, you know. I'd be so keen to be a part of the competitive bit of it. Because I've got no value in production or anything like that. I'll probably tell you a few stories that you wouldn't be able to put on. But like, definitely help with do the comp. We actually want to do a serious one for Pro Surfer. I say serious, this would be serious, but I mean, we want to do one that's the peak of the sport in the UK. This would be a brilliant way of working out proof of concept.
Yeah, it's a format,
exactly. Formatting it to be really, really dialed in for that. Right, anyway, I've got to do the school run. Legend for coming on, B.
That's all right. That's right.
Get on to the crowdfund if you want to see it. Fair enough, put $5 in or whatever, just a brand, someone's got to be watching this, just sling it the money and let's get it done. We're going to do a comp. Legends Tour comp. We've got to do it.
Sounds good, man.
Sick. Joe, what's coming on? Come on, you can say it.
Thick Lizzy board review on Wednesday, I think. Shaping a surfboard on Friday.
Lap sands and leash plugs on.
Yep.
On the next one on Friday, and then if we can get the coaching session with Luke Dillon up, we will. If not, maybe next time.
Surely.
Cheers, guys. Bye bye.